Friends, I welcome you all to our today's session. First of all, we'll be learning four concepts. These concepts are about exemptions, deductions, rebates, and reliefs. It is important for us to understand all these four concepts. When friends were understanding the concept of total income, at that time we have understood a kind of deduction. At that time, I had told you, or we had discussed, that income can be earned under 5 heads. That means that whatever income you want, that can be grouped under 5 heads. You might be having multiple sources of income, but that needs to be grouped under these 5 heads, like salaries, income from house property, then profit and gains of business and profession, then capital gains and income from other sources. And income generated for all this under all these 5 heads needs to be aggregated. Then that will to be subjected to 2 adjustments. One is setup of carry forward losses, and other one, can anyone tell me? 2 adjustments I had told you at that point of time. One is setup of carry forward losses. Then
So clubbing provisions.
clubbing provisions. So clubbing provisions. Okay, that means if earlier there has been some loss and return has been filed in time, that can be set off. And if some other person's income needs to be clubbed as per the provisions of income tax, that clubbing provisions also needs to be applied. After that, we'll be getting gross total income. And from that gross total income, first we'll be allowing the deductions, which are called as Chapter 6 and deduction. So this gives us a basic idea that when we're talking about deductions, that means deductions means this has to be reduced from the total income, reduced from the gross total. The deduction reduces your taxable. Is it that? But when you talk about exemptions, that means we say these are exempted income. This is different. That means the entire income is exempt. If you refer to the Income Tax Act, this is called as the income which do not form a part of total income. That means they are exempted income. So all of you are aware one kind of income, that is agricultural income, is exempt. What are this exempted income? If you want to understand, then you have to refer to section 10. I'll be taking you to section 10 to give you some idea that what are these incomes which do not form a part of total income. After all, we know it is the total income which is chargeable to tax. Is it not? And these are the list. There are certain items, certain incomes which do not form a part of that total income. So that is what exemptions. Okay. Then rebates and reliefs, they are used interchangeably. Sometimes, or you have seen that in certain situations, that after arriving at the total income, when you compute tax, and from that tax, these rebates and reliefs are allowed. That means it is a reduction from the tax itself. First, tax needs to be arrived at, then rebates and reliefs are there. Okay, but whereas when we're talking about the deduction, it is a reduction from the income. And when we talk about the exemption, these do not form a part of total income. So this is the basic difference. With that basic idea, let me share the screen with you. So one by one, we'll be discussing the issues. Yeah, first you see. Let us talk about deduction. Okay, what are these deductions? So these are in fact subtraction or reduction from the taxable income. So these are certain specified incomes which can be subtracted from the gross total income before calculation of the tax liability. So government has different objectives to allow this kind of deduction. Sometimes these deductions are allowed to promote saving of the assesses or to encourage investment habits of people. So we'll see a list of deductions here which are covered under section 80C to 80U. In appropriate time, you can go to the Income Tax Department website and see all the Chapter 6A deductions. And also there are some deductions which are allowed under various heads. For example, under the head salary, certain deductions like standard deductions, entertainment allowance, or let us say professional taxes paid, employment taxes paid. These are the reductions allowed. Okay, similarly, if you look at when you be learning the income from house property, that time also you'll be understanding that certain specific deductions for repair and maintenance, interest and borrowed capital. So these are the things which are allowed as. Similar kind of deductions are also there in other heads, like profit and gains of business profession and capital gains and income from other sources. There are some specific deductions are allowed. When I say these are the deductions, these are the amount which are subtracted from your income. Okay, so this picture shows an example of certain deductions. These are the deductions made from gross total income. In respective chapters, when we're learning various chapters at that time, we'll come across various other kind of deductions. So you see, there are some deductions which are allowed in respect of certain payments. That means if you have paid some money, then you are eligible to get these types of deductions, like life insurance premium paid. Or one more example, contribution to provident fund or pension fund, or medical insurance premium paid, payment of interest on loan taken for higher education. That means educational loan interest. Payment of interest on loan taken for residential house. Payment of interest on loan taken for purchase of electric vehicles. Rent paid. Donations to certain funds. Contribution to political parties. These are the examples of certain deduction. There are many more deductions also. This is not an exhaustive list. This is only certain examples I have included. Understood? So this kind of deduction. That means if you make this kind of payments, your income will be reduced by some extent. Got it? Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, there are certain deductions which are allowed on the basis of certain incomes. That means only when you are having those type of incomes, then you will be allowed certain deduction. For example, if someone is generating income by employment of new employees, or someone is having income which is earned through royalty income from authors of books, or income by a royalty from patents. So this kind of income, some specific provisions are there under Income Tax Act. Consequently, one can get certain deduction. Deductions are also allowed in respect of certain other incomes, like interest and deposits of saving account. So there are limits, different limits for a normal person or senior citizen. So if income is earned for saving bank deposit accounts by way of interest, that is allowed as a deduction. Under ADTTA, we'll be learning that thing in appropriate time. Okay. Then ADTTA and ADTTB, there are two sections in appropriate time you will learn. Then interest and deposits in case of senior citizens. So yeah, that is one more thing. So senior citizens is ADTTB. So in the first case, I think 10,000 is allowed. Second case, up to 40,000 is allowed ADTTB. So these are certain deductions. So all the deductions you see are coming in chapter 6A. Let me take you to chapter 6A, you can understand. Then other deduction in respect of persons having some disability. So there are some deductions allowed. So to understand this part, let me take you to this thing, section or chapter 6A, section 80C to 80U, so that you can have some better idea. Just give me a moment for that. So let me take you to Income Tax Department's website now. I think by this time, all of you are familiar with this website. Frequently, we are visiting to this place. Now, friends, I want to see chapter 6A. Where should I go? Quickly guide me. I want to know deductions under chapter 6A. Where should I go?
Acts.
Oh, let me go to Acts. Let me go here to Income Tax Act. Here is Income Tax Act. Let me click here. Since I'm already aware of the chapters, I can click here chapter wise. Otherwise, section wise, I can also show. Okay, chapter wise, you can see. So you see, these are the chapters. Deductions to be made in computing total income. Chapter 6A. You can find out various deductions. Okay, so very popular deduction is 80C As you know, ETC, you see, this is a list of deductions. As you can see, this is the life insurance premium paid, or premium paid for deferred annuity, contributions to provident fund. So these are many examples. Contribution of employees for recognized provident fund. These are the examples you see. If money is invested, then one can get deduction. Okay, got some idea?
Yes, sir.
You can read all these items one by one in appropriate time. Whenever you get time, you can read it. Then some more sections, let me show you. Yeah, ETC I had shown you. Now you see other things. ETCC, deductions for investment in new shares, deduction in respect of deposits and national savings scheme. Okay, deduction in respect of equity linked savings scheme. Right, so you can see this particular section CCE talks about the limit for deductions. You can see at appropriate time we'll be learning this thing. Limit of deduction space, it is taken together 1,50,000, and in some specific situation it may go up to 2 lakh rupees. That is ETCCE deductions. Okay, you see health insurance premium is deductible under section 80D. Okay, then 80DD, deduction in respect of maintenance, including medical treatment of dependent who is a person with disability. Deduction in respect of medical treatment. This is another important thing. Deduction in respect of interest on loan taken for higher education. Are you seeing these deductions? Deduction in respect of interest of loan taken for residential house property. If you want to know what are the deductions possible, you need to read all this. Okay, deductions in respect of rents. Deductions in respect of donations to charitable funds, trust, etc. Okay, you see so many deductions are there. This TTA, deduction in respect of interest on saving bank accounts. Then 80TTB, deduction in respect of interest on deposits of senior citizens. If you click here, you can understand how much deductions is allowed. You see, senior citizen, if he is earning interest, he can get deductions. Okay, here the limit is, you see how much you can allow. In case the amount of income doesn't exceed, I can get up 50,000, the whole amount, or 50,000. That means 50,000 rupees is to be allowed under 80 section TTP, not 40,000. Okay, so it is 50,000. Are you able to see it?
Yes, sir.
So you can easily take a decision now how much deductions are allowed. Similarly, if you want to know 80TTA, 80TTA limit is 10,000. So you can directly search 80TTA. And let me otherwise go to the chapter 6A. You can find out. ATTTA, you can find out. Are you able to see this amount? 10,000 rupees. Yes, a saving bank account up to 10,000 rupees income is exempt. Right. So you can go to the appropriate section. You can learn that how much is allowed. Again, I am showing you, take you to that chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Friends, please mute yourself, all of you. Please.
Sir, you can mute him.
Okay, now friends, you see chapter 6A. One more important thing I wanted to see. This is important for us. Limit and deduction under section 80C, CCB, and CCB. Can you read this thing? Aggregate amount deduction under section 80C, 80C, and 80CCB shall not exceed 150,000 rupees. That means deductions under these three sections, mind you, these three sections only together is restricted to how much? 1,50,000. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, these deductions are very important for us for tax planning purposes. Actually, deduction starts from this section. 80C. You can always have a look. So you see this 80C. 80C is certain deductions, then 80CCC contribution for pension fund, and 80CCB. And this limit is applicable for all these three sections. Okay. For other sections, limits are not there. Limits are there specifically. You have to refer to those specific sections. I think you got a fair idea about deduction. Okay. And it is very helpful to do proper tax planning. If you are aware of the deduction, then you can do a good tax planning. Now, friends, having understood the concept of deductions, then let us go to the concept of exemption. When I say exemptions means these are the items of income which are excluded from total income or excluded from taxable income. Meaning these items are not at all considered for income. Okay, so income on which exemption is available are tax-free. The objective of the government to allowing this kind of tax-free income is to boost a particular section in which tax is exempted. And to understand what are these exemptions, I need to visit to section 10. Would you like to visit there to get some idea that what are these income which do not form a part of total income? Should I go there? Okay. Then let me take you to section 10. Now you see section wise, now we can go there. Section wise, let me, or chapter wise also I can go. Let me go chapter wise. I can directly go to section 1. Chapter wise, you can see. Can you read here chapter 3? What is written?
Yes, sir.
Incomes which do not form part of total income.
Yes. If you click here, you can get section 10. Okay, are you getting section 10, 10A, 10B, 10 series? All the sections are there. So let us first see section 10. income which do not form a part of total income. You see on the top, what is appearing?
Incomes not included in total income.
Income. What is the first item?
Agricultural income.
So as you are aware of, agricultural income do not form a part of total income. But you know this agricultural income needs to be aggregated for rate purposes. I had explained you this concept in a previous class. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When your non-agricultural income exceeds the basic exemption limit and your agricultural income exceeds rupees 5,000, then both needs to be aggregated and tax is to be computed on that. Then what will happen? Again, one more tax will be tax will be computed on an amount aggregating agricultural income with their basic exemption limit. Okay, that is the second computation. On the first computation, first tax, the second tax will be deducted, and the final amount will be payable. This concept I had explained you in your previous class. Hope you have understood this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is a useful concept. And you can see now the list of items which are exempt. Okay. So we'll be learning most of them in appropriate time. So right now, just I wanted to give you some idea that this is how income can be. This is how we can see which are the incomes that are exempted. Okay, friends.
Yes, sir.
Got it. Okay. Now, next one. Yeah, if you try to differentiate what is exemption and deduction. So exemption is out of purview of the tax. The total income is computed after allowing deduction from gross total income. The deductions are different and exemptions are different. Exemptions are allowed without any claim. If you do not claim, still also that is exempted. Exemptions can never exceed your total income. Deductions may exceed total income. Consequently, there might be negative income also possible. Deductions are available only when it is claimed. Exemptions, even if it is not available, it can be, even if it is not claimed, it can be made up. So these are some basic differences between these exemptions and deductions. Then come to next part, that is what is this rebate and relief. Friends, it is really difficult to distinguish what is a rebate and what is a relief, because I couldn't find a clear distinction between these two by referring to various sections of law. And other places also, I tried to search and couldn't find a clear distinction. So roughly for it talk, and the way it is, this type of rebates and reliefs are allowed in the income tax law, it is understood that rebates and reliefs means this is a concession for the tax. That means after deductions are allowed, if you know what is your taxable income, on that you can compute tax, and therefrom some rebates and reliefs may be allowed. Okay. In fact, rebate offers a relief in the amount of income tax. For example, you can refer to section 87A. Section 87A we had discussed earlier. Some of you might be aware of. Can you try to recall what is section 87A? This is about if the total income doesn't exceed 5 lakh rupees, then the whole amount of income tax, or 12,500 rupees, whichever is lower, okay, will be exempted. So will be allowed as relief from the tax. Similarly, section 89(1) is one more relief. What is that relief? That relief is again a concession from the tax. When because of some reason, one person receives salary for more than, receives salary for more than 12 months, then he is eligible to get a relief. For example, let us say someone receives some arrears of salary Are you getting what is arrears of salary? Do you understand the meaning when
Yes,
you say
sir.
arrears of
Yes.
salary? Okay, sometimes this happens. So let us say one person has not received any salary for last 5 years, and he is receiving the entire salary, which is called as arrears of salary today. So he'll be receiving a lump sum. Is it? And since he is receiving a lump sum and a big amount he is receiving, he'll be paying tax at a higher rate. Yes or no? Are you agreeing with me?
So, since he is receiving after all, even if he is receiving in lump sum amount, it is like I can say a revenue receipt because it is his income that is pending.
It is revenue receipt. It's 100%
Yes, sir.
revenue receipt. It is income. But thing is that because of that receipt is receiving lump sum. Suppose every year you should have received your salary. Every year your income could have been, let us say, for example, let us say, every year your income could have been 2,50,000. And since basic exemption is limit is 2,50,000 rupees, you would not have paid tax. Okay, last 5 years you would not have paid tax because your salary income is 2,50,000. But this year we are receiving the entire. Okay, 2,50,000 rupees for 5 years. You are receiving 12,50,000 rupees this year as arrears of salary. Now it is taxable.
I don't think so. I guess relief will be given because it's a salary that he was supposed to receive, and that is also exempted amount. If he's receiving it as a lump sum amount, then I don't think so. Sir.
No, no. You try to apply the law. Right. So the provisions you are aware of. Now answer me this question. So 2,50,000 rupees, if you would have received in the last 5 years, you might not have paid any tax. Okay, because that is below taxable limit. But today he is receiving 10 lakh, 12 lakh 50,000. 12 lakh 50,000 is taxable. Because out of this 2,50,000 rupees is exempt. Right. Then from 2,50,000 to 5 lakh rupees, you will be paying tax at 5%. Right. From 5 lakh to 10 lakh rupees, you will be paying tax at 20%. And above 20 lakh, above 10 lakh rupees, up to 12,50,000 rupees, you will be paying tax at 30%. Okay. Because
Yes.
his income is 12,50,000. This is how we have to. Now you see, just because he has received arrears, he is paying tax. Otherwise, he would not have paid tax.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in this situation, this relief will be allowed under section 89. That assessee can claim that relief. Okay, by explaining that if this income can be distributed over the last 5 years, there would not have been any additional tax. But since he is receiving entire thing today, and tax is attracted, so whatever extra tax liability is there, he can claim it by relief. After claiming relief, yes, tax will not be paid. Understood? But he has to claim for that. So many
Yes,
times
sir.
you have seen many entities, even government employees, get arrears of the salary in a particular year. And suddenly their salary jumps, or their receipt of salary jumps. And they're attracted to high rate of tax. How can they avoid it? They can avoid it by claiming this relief. That is what one has to do. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Now you see. Rebates and relief. First, let me explain you an example of a rebate. Rebate under section 87A. So this is a thing we discussed it earlier also. If the total income is less than 5 lakh rupees or is equal to 5 lakh rupees, a deduction up to rupees 12,500 is allowed. Consequently, if the assessee's total income is up to 5 lakh rupees, assessee need not pay any tax. But we have already seen if it is slightly excess of 5,000 rupees, slightly excess of 5 lakh rupees, For example, the assessed income is 5 lakh and 1. Then he has to pay tax as per slab rate. Okay. And this particular provision, this particular rebate is allowed only for resident individuals whose total income does not exceed 5 lakh. It's not applicable for others. How much is this rebate? 100% of the income tax, or rupees 12,500, whichever is less. If tax amount is 500 rupees, then entire 500 rupees will be rebated. If tax amount goes up to 12,500 rupees, then entire 12,500 rupees will be rebated. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Then friends, let us see what is a relief. Here is an example. Relief. Okay, so this is the exactly section 89 I have produced here. So you can see in essence what it talks about. It talks about if somebody receives salary for more than 12 months. Okay, are you able to read it? Salary for more than 12 months. And because of which his total income is assessed at a rate higher than that at which it would otherwise have been assessed. Okay, suppose it would otherwise have been assessed at a lower rate. But since he is receiving salary for more than 12 months, his total income is now assessed at a higher rate. Then, in this situation, the assessing officer shall, on an application made to him on this behalf, shall grant a relief. Now, relief will be allowed. How much relief will be allowed? You can find out a tax calculator. You can find out then how relief can be computed. I will show you that thing. In appropriate time, you can see. Right. So normally how relief is computed, let me explain you. In this situation, what will happen? You can compute. Let us say the total income in current years is more because of receipt of areas. You can find out what is the tax liability. For example, let us say this current year. In this current assessment year, your total income is 12,50,000. So please find out what is the tax on 12,50,000. Then what you can do, since this 12,000 rupees is the salary for more than 12 months, that means some areas income is also there. Now distribute it over various years and calculate what is the tax in those years. Okay, and calculate how much tax is paid in these years and what is the extra liability. What is the tax extra liability you should have paid, assuming that this area is received in respective years. Let us say extra tax liability is 500. Totally, you would have paid 500 rupees extra. Understood? But now, because of this thing, you are paying 25,000 rupees extra. Example. Why you are paying 25,000 rupees extra? Because this income contains previous year's income, some earlier year's income. Okay, and because of which you are booked to a higher slab. So you are paying 25,000 extra. Got it? But you should have paid only 500 rupees extra. Now, the 25,000 minus 5,000. How much?
20,000.
25,000, 500 rupees.
Oh, sorry, sir. Then 24,500.
This 24,500 rupees will be allowed to as a relief. That means your additional tax liability is 25,000 minus relief. How much? 24,500. Consequently, how much extra you are going to pay? Only 500 rupees. That
Yes.
you would have otherwise paid. Got it?
Sir, can you repeat again?
Let me. This thing happens many times with mostly government employees or even in private sector employees who receive areas. So in that case, what we do, who ask these people, give a breakup of areas. That the areas is for which year. Suppose I'm learning this, I was doing it assessment year 22-23. Okay, but areas are received for assessment year, let us say 2021, 19-20, 18-19, 17-18, 16-17. Let us say for these assessment year, I have received 5 lakh rupees extra. I have received 5 lakh rupees extra, but which pertains to this assessment year. And since this 5 lakh rupees is coming here, it may assessment year 22-23, I am paying extra income. I am paying extra tax. Are you getting me? And the entire
sir.
5 lakh rupees I am paying extra tax at the rate of 30%, because my tax, my income now is going beyond 10 lakh. It's a 30%. So I'm earning this 5 lakh rupees extra, but I'm paying the tax of 1,50,000 rupees. 30% tax I'm paying. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So would you not like to claim a relief here, because you feel that if this 5 lakh rupees you have received in respective years, you should have paid extra tax only to the extent of, let us say, 1 lakh. Because in those years your tax slabs are low, you could have paid tax, let us say, at 5% or maybe at 20%. You could have paid tax at 5%, but now you are paying 30%, 1 lakh. You could have paid 1 lakh rupees, now you are paying, let us say, this 5 lakh rupees, 5% is how much? Or let us say 20%, 20% is 1 lakh. You could have paid 1 lakh rupees, but now you are paying 1,50,000 rupees. So what you can do, you can claim a relief of 50,000 rupees each year. So you can say, you see, my additional tax liability current year is 1,50,000 rupees. But when I distribute my income in respective years, my additional tax liability would have been 1 lakh rupees. So extra 50,000 rupees I should pay. Okay, sorry, 1 lakh, the extra 50,000 rupees should be allowed as a rebate.
Yes, sir.
Allowed as a rebate.
Yes,
That is claimed under section 89. That is what this section talks. Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
But now you might be thinking that how to calculate. So this is, of course, you may feel a little cumbersome exercise, because what you have to do, you have to calculate income tax for each respective years. Let's say 10 years you have received, then you have to calculating for the last 10 years. Is it done? Then only you will be able to claim relief.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what you can do, income tax department has helped you. In fact, so you can do one thing. Just a minute, let me show you that calculation. Yeah. You can go to income tax department's homepage. Earlier I have shown you some tax calculators. Here I'll be also taking you to this tax calculators. Okay. Are you seeing some of the calculators? Let us move to the next page. It's also not here. Let me go to the next page. Are you able to see it? Relief under section 89. This calculator. Are you able to see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if you click here, you can find out how much relief will be allowed to you. So you see, it talks about assessment year, previous year, tax status, essential status, date of birth, gender, and salary received in arrears. Then you have to give the details for which years only after filling up how much you have received, then it will give you what is the relief under section 89. It will be automatically calculated. Is it not a useful thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can write here. Some date you can select, any date. You can select your gender. Now you can understand here you have to fill up the detail. When is salary received in arrears, you have to fill up the detail. For which year, how much salary you have received. Okay. Then it will be calculated. This detail needs to be filled up. Are you getting it? So this
Yes,
is
sir.
a very useful calculators for employees who are receiving salary in arrears. Mostly in government sector, PSUs, they receive in arrears. Many times they find it very difficult to compute that how much relief one should claim, because otherwise they have to pay tax at a higher amount. But this relief is allowed. One can claim this relief provided he is able to calculate this thing. Okay. And as you are aware of now that calculation is difficult. It's not a difficulty. It is a calculator only. You have to fill up the data. You need to know year-wise. That means for which year, how much of area you receive. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear to you up to this? So
Yes,
rebates, reliefs, exemptions, deductions. Are you clear about this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, friends. Thank you very much.